Alright, hello and welcome back to more Relinquished magic, because that's right, today we're taking another look at Relinquished. Now we've done this once before, but I've actually probably made like 10 different variations of a Relinquished deck at this point, because it's something I ended up really liking even though I thought I never would. But that's besides the point. But I didn't get to show off the middle build in time really before the new stuff came out, but now the new stuff's here, so let's go ahead and do this one, although we may see another one soon because this one's very combo heavy, and to be honest, fails very hard to negate in things like that, but whenever it does go off, it's super fun and one of my favorite things that I've ever actually made. So we're going to take a look at it anyway and possibly do a revisit soon here as well. Now, starting off with, we have 3 copies of Relinquished. Obviously, the main man of the deck, suck something up. You can ram him into stuff and then inflict the damage to your opponent. That's one of my favorite things I've done, is I've sucked up a face-down monster and then rammed it into something to kill us both when the guy was being a complete dick. Oh, good times. But we also have some new support for him as well. We have 3 monsters and a spell card. I believe that's it. But starting off, we have Millennium Eyes Illusionist. Now, it's 2 stars, 0 attack, 1400 defense, and it's a dark spellcaster. Now, as a quick effect, you can discard this card, then target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, equip that target to 1 Eyes Restrict fusion monster or 1 Relinquished you control, and if you do, it is treated as being equipped by the equipped monster's effect. So it basically is a free suck up onto something. Now, Relinquished can only have 1 at a time, but the new fusion they made can have multiples. Also, if an Eyes Restrict fusion monster or Relinquished is special summoned, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. It's actually not a you have to do that. If you special one and it's in the grave, you add this card back, and each effect is once per turn. So he is very good. Now, what makes him very good is he actually gives you something you can do first turn and something you can do on your opponent's turn, because he's obviously a hand trap. So before going first, where you make a Relinquish, or going first, you wouldn't do anything because you need them to have something on field. You'd use Kaijus because, again, you need something big on field. But now with this card, you can kind of just drop it, take something, disrupt your opponent in that way. So this card is very, very good. Now, next up, we have Magical Illusionist Faceless Mage, and this is at 3, although it really should be at 2. Although for the combo potentials, I do like it at 3, and you'll see why here. If a face-up Eyes Restrict or Relinquished you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, or this card's in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card. Also, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Eyes Restrict fusion monster or Relinquished in your graveyard, special summon it, and those are both once per turn. Now, what really holds us back is it's a 5-star. It's also a Spellcaster Dark, and it's 1200 to 2200, but it's a level 5. If this was a level 4, it'd be insane, because you could Ritual Summon a Relinquish, suck something up, normal summon this, make a Link, bring Relinquish back, Relinquish sucks something up, you go and do a Link 3 from there, so that's 2 sucks off of the Relinquish there. I'm going to be saying sucks a lot in this duel. It's a good long suck. Just roll with it, roll with it. So this card, if it was a 4, would be even better, but because we are running some things like Brilliant Fusion, obviously we can special Relinquish. That's not a normal summon. We have Ghosts we can special summon, so there are ways we can tribute summon this card and not worry too much about it. So we do have ways to get it on the field, link with it, and then bring something back for those extra suck-ups and for those free links, basically. Now, a quick point on these. Obviously, Millennium Eyes Illusionist is extraordinarily good in a less combo build of Relinquished, in a more control one, which is probably something I'll take a look at here in the future. That's probably, if I do a revisit, it'll definitely be a control type build. And these are both, like, this one obviously facilitates combos, but it's also, it adds that recovery to the deck. Every turn you have this coming back, it brings something else back. Whenever that's destroyed, this comes back. This, obviously, it recurs itself as well. So these add some recursion to the deck, add some recovery to the deck, basically. So these are very good in a control variant, but also serve the purposes in a combo variant, because each of them both essentially functions as free ritual fodder as well, because this adds back the second you summon it, and this can use its effect from the graveyard as well. So you also don't care if you had to ritual summon with these, which is very helpful also. Next up, we have 3 copies of Kinkabio. On normal summon, you can special summon a level 1 monster from the graveyard, but banish it when this card leaves the field, and it's a spirit, so it returns to hand during the end phase. This is essentially just for insane combo capabilities. So say you open this and Brilliant Fusion. You can Brilliant Fusion, make this a Raphnite and the Trick Clown, all that usual stuff. You can Ritual Summon into a Relinquished, suck something up with the Relinquished, link with the Relinquished and some of the monsters you have on field, normal summon this, bring back the Relinquished, suck something else up. It just, you don't even need Brilliant Fusion for that. I'm just adding steps to this you don't even need. But as you can see, this card is basically a free Link 2 and a free suck. That's just what it is in this deck, basically, because you have so many ways. You have Instant Fusion, you have the new Fusion, you have Relinquished itself. You have so many ways to get these level 1 monsters that can suck things up into the grave that this card will essentially always be a free Link 2 and a suck up, which is insane. Especially when you're using some double normal summons, this card can get very crazy in this deck. Just for some general Link format and combo stuff, we have the Predator Plant Engine and 3 copies of Gofu. Gofu is obviously just drop it, make a free Decode Talker, or you can actually make a Ningirsu by going into Proxy Dragon and Link Kuriboh, which is what I prefer to do. So you basically make the Link Kuriboh, make the Proxy Dragon, you make your play from there using those zones, and then you go into a Ningirsu, and that's all over. So it's another free out to something if your sucks aren't enough. And the Predator Plants can also actually search the new Relinquished Fusion card. So we have Instant Fusion, Brilliant Fusion, and Relinquished Fusion as targets for that. So it doesn't just facilitate combos and getting to Brilliant Fusion in the whole Predator Plant combo, but actually lets us add consistency to our deck as well. The last monsters we just have for the Brilliant Fusion and the Predator Plant combo, we have the 1 copy of Garnet, the 1 Trick Clown, and the 1000 Blades. For our spells, we have 3 copies of Pre-Prep and 3 copies of Preparation. That's why we don't need Manjus, because we essentially have 8 copies of Relinquished just in these. Each one can grab the spell as well. Obviously, Pre-Prep's insane, Preparation's insane after Pre-Prep. So just super consistency for rituals right there. Prep coming back to 2 does help. Helps us get our Black Illusion rituals back after we use them. How about that transition, eh? Obviously, just the Relinquished... the ritual spell for Relinquished, gotta have it. You could run Advanced Ritual Art, and I might do that again in the control build, but in this, with the essentially free ritual fodder you have, you really don't need Advanced Ritual Art anymore. We have 3 copies of Relinquished Fusion. Now this lets you fusion summon 1 Eyes Restrict fusion monster from your extra deck, so that's the new one, or 1000 Eyes Restrict, by banishing fusion materials from your hand, field, or graveyard. So it can get them from anywhere, so you can go off, make your whole play, and then just drop this at the end. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, equip that target to 1 Eyes Restrict or Relinquished you control, and if you do, it counts as that effect, and each effect is once per turn. So this, again, is essentially you can make your play, and then you can suck something up with this, suck something up with their effect, so this essentially adds another suck to the whole combo. It sounds so weird saying suck so many times, but that's what it is. But yeah, it's very good. Again, it's because you can banish from grave, you can just go off, do your whole thing, and then use this. You'll basically see that in the replay that we're showing off here. Then we have the Instant Fusion and the Brilliant Fusion. Obviously, you guys all know what those do. And then 3 copies of Where Art Thou. If you have a level 1, search level 1, that gets us to a Relinquished, that gets us to our King of BOs, and you can use it whenever you have the Gofu tokens up on the field. So we have more ways to make it live than it actually looks like. Now, getting onto the extra deck, that's what differs most from the last build of this that I showed, or from the build that I was playing up until now, because now it's mostly links. We actually have 10 links, and the other 5 are just some XYZs and fusions that we have to run to actually make the deck work, because this deck actually became a link spam deck, which is interesting. So you out a whole bunch of things and then make links. Because of the way we can recur from grave and such, you know, links get them immediately into grave, whereas XYZs didn't, so it actually really helps the deck. Now we have these 2 cards, Link Spider and Link Kuriboh. I was on the wrong one there. Now obviously Link Kuriboh works with the Gofu tokens or our level 1s, and Link Spider works just with the Gofu tokens, so ideally 2 Link Kuribohs would be better, but this is going to be a Shonen Jump promo, and with spirals using it, it's going to be expensive. Even not, Shonen Jump promos are just expensive anyway, so this is the more realistic way I go. Just the more realistic way you could go, I suppose. I really can't talk tonight. But yeah, so you have the 1 copy of Link Kuriboh and the 1 copy of Link Spider. Again, you can use those as... We essentially run 2, so that we can turn a Gofu token into a Ningirsu, a Gofu token into a Link Spider, you know, turn the 2 into a Proxy Dragon, that's Ningirsu, so it just facilitates a Ningirsu play having both of these, and obviously, you know, having Link Kuriboh, we have level 1s, we can instantly, you know, go into some links with this. Then we have the 2 copies of Proxy Dragon, basically 1 for extension and 1 for Decode Talker and Ningirsu plays, Mrs. Radiant for the Predator Plant combo, Ib for more, again, play extension. You know, bring something out, then you set her in basically the middle zone, and then you have 3 zones from there, or 2 zones from there at least. Deco Talker as something for Gofu, and just a general all-around good Link monster to open up 2 zones and get stuff off the field. Then Gearsu, because he's basically a scrap dragon. Gaia Saber, he points down, he's 26. Again, he gets 3 monsters off field, so he's good. Actually, I'll mention that point at the end. And 1 copy of Firewall Dragon, because in the craziest combo in this deck, we end up with sucking up 4 monsters and being able to bounce 3. The extra deck is very weird, so I'll actually go over now because it pertains most to the Links. Now, I'm showing off basically the craziest, like, ideal combo build of the deck, which isn't realistic, but it's the craziest thing. Obviously, it's the most impressive, so that's kind of what I want to show off, or at least the build for it. But there's other ways you could run this. You can either end with the Firewall with a whole bunch of bounces, you could end trying to extra link, you could end with just a general good board of like Deco Talker, Proxy Dragon, Ib, kind of protection kind of things. So there's a lot of ways you could end on this deck. And that's basically just player preference on how you'd want to end, say the extra link or just a defensive board or the Firewall Dragon. So this can actually be customized to your needs, which is something I like. So don't feel, you don't have to follow this exactly. You can customize it to what you feel is necessary. Now, the next 4 of the next 5 cards are completely necessary for the deck. We have 1 copy of MX Saber Invoker for the I can't talk. Oh my god. We have 1 copy of MX Saber Invoker for the Predator Plant combo, 1 copy of Seraphonite for Brilliant Fusion, 1 copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict for Instant Fusion, and 1 copy of Millennium Eyes Restrict for our Relinquished Fusion. Now, I skipped over Princess Sprite because she's not necessary, but she's very highly recommended. Because she can, the amount of times where you'll get into a pre-prep, all of our spells are powerful, so getting into any of them is very insane. If it gets you an instant fusion or a relinquished fusion or a preparation of rites, pretty much anything it gets you is going to lead to replacing the monster you took off the board whenever you go to link with this. So it's essentially always worth it, or usually it's always worth it, so she is very highly recommended. And going over our final monster, we have Millennium Eyes Restrict, the most exciting part of the new support. Now, he requires Relinquished and 1 effect monster. He's very easy to summon. Say you're running Manju, you basically just have to open a Manju in the fusion, which is, very crazy. Now, once per turn, when an opponent's monster activates its effect, and this is a quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard, equip that target to this card. This card gains attack and defense equal to the combined attack and defense of the monsters equipped to it by this effect, and monsters with the same name as a monster equipped to this card by this effect cannot attack, also negate their effects. So this can't suck up on a whim like Thousand Eyes Restrict or Relinquished can, but this can actually work on your opponent's turn. It can take things from grave, and it can shut down your opponent if you steal an important card. Say you steal a Buster, their Buster can't activate the effects. And one of the most important parts, he can have multiple monsters equipped to him at once. So if you activate his effect, activate the Fusion Engrave, and activate Millennium Eyes Illusionist, that's 3 monsters on him at once. So he gets big, and that's negating 3 of your opponent's monsters if they run multiple copies. So if they don't out him, he becomes a problem fast. Alright, so that's it for showing off the deck and explaining it. This one's probably going to be a bit longer, but there was a lot of stuff I wanted to explain in here. So let's go ahead and get into our replay for this one. Alright, so getting into our 1 replay here, we're up against Subterrors. Subterror Shadalls, actually. We're slowing down again. I literally can't do anything to fix it. I've tried everything I can, and for some reason I can't fix the slowing down issues. It's just my graphics card and other things are terrible. But I rant about that in every video, so let's just forget about it for now. So we're up against Subterror Shadalls up here. I'm not sure on the build, but he does open decent. He opens with a Banish. He has a Phoenix on field, although I don't believe he can use the Negate. So he just has a Banish, so obviously it's not an optimal opening, but it shows off one good quality this deck has is that you can bait, simple things like that. You can bait, 1 Negate, you can bait 1 Banish, things like that. Just because of the ways we have Relinquished, Thousand Eyes, things they have to deal with or else they're going to steal one of their monsters. And I'm also going to preface this. This is the worst I've ever tried to talk in a video. I'm also going to preface this with another warning that this combo is very fragile. It doesn't always go off like you plan. 1 Negate can sometimes be all it takes to end it, but again, when it does go off, it's super insane. This also isn't the best variation of the combo. This one only ends with, I think, we sucked up 3 monsters and had 1 bounce, because we had to use up some resources in non-ideal ways. But I will try to show off the craziest variation of the combo at some point, although I do want to try to gather the cards or borrow the cards in real life to show that off in all its shiny glory. So I will try to get that to you guys at some point, but this is just a little example of it against, you know, a decent deck. You know, this is the kind of tiers where you're going to be able to get this deck to go off. Obviously, sub-terrors aren't great, but they have little things they can do here and there, and this deck falls into that category as well, where when it does go off, it goes off really damn well. So let's go ahead and roll it. Now, he's going first. He's going to get Fiendish, that'll make everything live. He can do Archer, and he can do the one that banishes something with a final battle set. So we'll go ahead, we're going to get pre-prep here. We'll grab our Relinquished, and here's, you know, one of the ways where you will bait stuff. Obviously, we go into Thousand Eyes. He has to banish that or else he's going to lose his monster. So we'll go ahead and draw that out here. Now we don't have anything to worry about, and we can go off uninhibited. Now this is the standard Pride Plant combo. You go into Invoker, 1,000 Blades, that makes him miss his Radiant. Then you go into the Brilliant Fusion from there, that gets you Seraphonite, Trick Clown, and 1,000 Blades. That's not something I made, that's just something that I heard about and went with. And honestly, ending on Radiant isn't super great, so I might again try to make a variation on that to make it better for this deck, you know, more fitted towards extra linking or things like that. I even have work still to do on this deck, you know, to figure out which of those variations is the best and the best way to optimize it for that, but I still want to show off, you know, what I've come up with so far. So that little blurb out of the way, obviously we have that whole combo off. Now we'll go ahead and use Relinquished. We'll grab back the Millennium Eyes Illusionist. We ditched off the Predator Plants, and now here's our first suck here, so we'll go ahead and take one of those. It's slowing down. We'll make... okay. All right, now that it's back up to speed, so we go ahead. We made the Proxy Dragon to get our Relinquished Engrave. We have our extra Null Summon. We'll Null Summon the Kinkabio to grab back the Relinquished. That'll be our second suck up there. We'll go into a Guy Saber, go into a Firewall, use the Fusion to make our Millennium Eyes Restrict, banish the Fusion to suck up his last monster, giving this 1,600 and letting us put in 1,300 with 3 suck-ups and 1 bounce on the field. Now again, if everything would have went off ideal, we wouldn't have been able to do better, and we didn't open the most ideal hand, but if everything would have went off, we would have at least been able to have 2 bounces, another suck, something like that. So this isn't even the craziest that it gets, but as you can see, it goes off spectacularly, in my opinion at least, and he's going to go ahead and scoop there as he really didn't have much to do. Alright, and that is my updated Relinquished build, and I'm just going to end it here because I've said everything I want to say, and I've probably repeated myself a lot already, so I'll just go ahead and cut it here. Now, if you're looking for a place to chill, hang out, talk about Yu-Gi-Oh, anime, things like that, just a general all-around good place to hang out, chat, things like that, I'll have a link to my Discord down in the description. I don't know why I always repeat the same like 3 words about it, but yeah. If you're looking for something like that, link to that down in the description. If you appreciate the things I do and the work I put into editing and such, I have a link to my Patreon down in the description. Hey, seriously though, no content or anything will be gated off. You'll get all the usual content if you support me or not, but if you have a little extra to give, it'd be greatly appreciated, and I'll probably throw up some extra duels from the worst deck of all time, or deck profiles, things that don't make it into the final cuts up there, so you guys have a little bit of extra content as well for your support. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.